Defense Secretary. You know one. Pete Hegseth is already in the hot seat over strikes on an alleged narco boat. But now sources say an inspector general report that could be released as soon as today found that he could have put troops' lives at risk back in March by using a signal chat to discuss imminent attack in Yemen. Hegseth claims that the report totally exonerates him. But Republicans, like Senator Tom Tillis, they don't seem to be buying it. Watch.
No one can rationalize that as an exoneration. We know that mission information was outside of the classified setting that it was trusted to be in. And, you know, Caitlin, I don't even bring a pen into a classified briefing. We obviously don't have our phones, we don't have our watches. I don't even bring a pen in to make notes, to remove any doubt that there is something that I could have dropped or put in the trash can that I forgot about, because that's how seriously you need to take classified information.
Yeah.
So,
He's right.
you know, so Hegseth is trying to justify that this report clearly clears his name. Nobody has read the report yet. Nobody knows what's in it. So how does he know it exonerates? What is happening?
What I'm wondering is if they forgot that in 2016, we heard all about a private server, Hillary Clinton's emails.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been confidential. What was in that information? And there was a lot of outrage. And arguably, it was one of the top few reasons that people credited with I could never vote for her, because she doesn't know how to handle confidential information. Then we sit here now, and I'm not seeing the same outrage over literal war plans shared hours before with people like your sister and your brother.
Podiatrist.
And then, by the way, it shows you why there are skiff rooms and there are channels to do this stuff, because you could accidentally, I don't know, include a reporter on it.
Yeah.
Which he did. So the point here is that, like, it's all wrong, but like, why would you harp on how bad this was, how endangering it could be, when you actually did the thing and you did endanger the troops? And I'm not seeing the same outrage for something as egregious
Why
as
not?
this. Because we pick our battles. We're selective outrage.
Because it's become normalized.
It's not normalized.
It
It
is.
is people that were outraged before typically were on the right, and they're going to apologize for Hegseth. And that's why they're not mad now. But if you're being consistent and you really cared, you should really care right now that this was shared.
I also miss the buck stops with me in leadership.
Yeah.
He is the Secretary of Defense. He's one of two people on the planet who can direct a U.S. military strike on behalf of the United States. He's an incredibly powerful person. So whether it's this with Signalgate, when we learned about all of this, any thinking person was like, you shouldn't have done this. This could have endangered troops. At minimum, it was reckless, and thank God nothing bad happened. He should have taken responsibility then. And I know you guys have been talking earlier in the week about these Venezuelan alleged drug boat interdictions that we've seen in these double tap strikes that have taken place. He now seems to be throwing under the bus Admiral Brady, who's someone I don't know well, but I worked with at the Pentagon. He is somebody who has a stellar reputation, is respected by both sides of the aisle. And I will say, we don't have all the facts. I have a hard time believing that he would have called for what amounts, I would believe, to a war crime with the information that he had. So whether he got wrong information from someone above him in directing that, it just doesn't feel like the secretary he's the one who should be taking responsibility. Instead, he's just pointing the finger.
Well, he had a meeting,
someone else's.
He had to leave the room.
Despite taking credit for the strike on Fox
But Trump
News.
won't do anything about it. He'll just call it a hoax and send the ICE into New Orleans like he's doing.
And I'm sorry,
You know,
Admiral Bradley, I said
to distract from the whole thing. He's not going to get rid of him.
I don't think he's
so.
going to get rid of him either, because it would be, you know, admitting that he put forth the wrong person, right? And he's supposedly surrounds himself with the best people. But I think that Mark Kelly.
But there's so many like that.
They're so unqualified.
There's so many.
I'm telling you, when you hire a clown, you got a circus, and so that's what happens. So you know, we've got just a government circus. But what I will say is, Mark Kelly, who is a veteran, astronaut, member of the Armed Services Committee, he said this about the report. He said, it's pretty clear he shouldn't have been using his cell phone and an insecure app, unofficial app with regards the Department of Defense to be sharing that kind of information. It's not too hard to see how our adversaries can get that information, pass it on to the Houthis in this case, and put military lives at risk. It's just so very simple, and that is because, like you said, there's no real leadership at the top. It's a circus.
I mean, does anybody? I mean, think about it. Everybody's playing dress up. Everybody's playing, from Christy Nome to Pete Hegseth to Cash Patel. They're all playing dress up. It's like they think they're in a movie.
Yeah.
Well, in the States,
Wait a minute, but they were on a lot of Hegseth he found on television.
Yes, but he wasn't in the movies.
No. All right. Picky.
The stakes couldn't be higher when we're talking about the Department of Defense, because again, on this issue of these military strikes in the Caribbean, listen, I am the first person to say we need to stop the flow of illicit drugs into this country. We all know people who have had their lives ruined from fentanyl coming into this country. The vast majority is not
from Venezuela.
No, it's coming from Venezuela. And
That's
by the way,
Anna's point.
it's coming from Mexico, and
It's
the
coming
border
from
is
several places,
Yes.
including inside our own country.
correct.
That too.
But by the way, the border is largely secured, and that's something Donald Trump has taken credit for. Secure the border, and we don't need to engage in military operations to stop boats because the fentanyl will not be able to come in. Just focus on the
here's-
homeland.
here's
doesn't
my
it
point.
do-
If you have people on a boat and you blow up the boat and there's two people hanging on the side of the boat, they're not carrying fentanyl. They're not swimming with the fentanyl on them.
Yeah.
So they weren't posing any danger.
And it's a war crime according to the
And
military.
we're not at war with anybody.
That's right.
Yeah, but
No,
no
but
one voted
they
for
would
war.
rather have an allegation of a war crime than let people in America focus on a bad economy and the Epstein files.
Yeah.
They would rather you look over here than over here. That's what this is
Well, there's
about
also
to me.
something more at play here. He's working some angle that doesn't have to do with drugs, whether it's regime change
be
or oil. It's
It
something
could be
else.
it's everything but what we
What
need.
it is.
Yeah.
You know, we need y'all to pay attention. And we're going to keep saying it, and we're going to keep pointing it out. And this is what reporters and everybody else needs to do. When you hear someone is saying and giving bad information, like Abby Phillips did the other day, she said, that is not true. That is not happening. We all need more of that, because that's the only way we're going to stop this in the bud.